All right, sports fans, we have a breaking story, one of the first. I'm not gonna, give up on the sports. I know you guys like the R. Smith Now Sports Channel, but I'm gonna have to find a way to work it in. This is a work in progress. But breaking news, it was just leaked. I don't know how soon you're gonna see this on the news and whatnot, but I have a very good source in the DC area. Um, that has told me the Washington football team is going to make their new name the Commanders. And they will deny this when asked, but I am giving you my word, which is much, much, much more reliable than, well, pretty much anyone else in, certainly owners of football teams and the media. That's not saying much, but Commanders, Washington Commanders. Let me get a little side note here. So, they say, what is it? What do they call it? America's original sin, right? Slavery. The um, taking people, black people from their home continent and bringing them here and for 100 years, holding them, pretty much prisoners, making money off of them, working for nothing. And we haven't really changed uh, that system. We still have a minimum wage that no one can live on. So I think that most people would much rather have a house and to get paid nothing. That's another story, though. Here's the thing. Indians have some problems. Native Americans, I don't know what you're going to call them now, but here's the thing. They definitely appreciate, taking away things like the Cleveland Indians logo. That was a little crazy. But the Redskins, I know people love to say, what if it was the Blackskins? What if it was, this? Here's the thing, guys. The majority of Native American population lives on reservations. Now, that is pretty much like, let's see, what can I compare that to? It's not prison, but it's segregation in a very unique form. And the thing is that, through the civil rights movement, through, changing all kinds of laws, we never changed the fact that we gave them land in very undesirable locations, by the way, that no one ever wanted the land. And, we let them run casinos and liquor stores and gun stores. They have the highest suicide rate, I think, among any race per capita. They have the, by far, largest alcohol abuse rate. The jobs that are lucrative are for a few, running the casinos. And hey, if anybody's ever worked in a casino, here's the thing, it's very hard to run a legit casino. Not legit, I'm just saying this is not necessarily, if you're going to, they said, look, we're going to be very nice. We're going to allow you guys to have casinos on your reservations, knowing they won't compete with Las Vegas when it was done, Atlantic City, because they don't have any of the attractions. They just had legalized gambling, and look where we are now. Every state's getting legalized anyway. So at least we're changing all the logos and sports teams' names. What the hell? It wouldn't even be that hard to do something nice for them. Like, how about, instead of all the liquor stores and casinos, you get to let them have a piece of the weed farming, or legalizing psilocybin in different places. Let them get a piece of that. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea why the country just decided to be an outrage. And we do this with other shit, too. The Black Lives Matter movement, like, it's obviously horrible. The police kill black people, but that's a systemic problem of police. Just, it's, I can, if you start to listen to my podcast and listen to some of the crime stories, you'll see that after my big federal case where I was one out of 26 people who beat the charge, they, I beat it by walking away from $600,000 that in equity on one house and having to go bankrupt and dropping 200 grand on a lawyer, and then not going into a safe house that had about 700 grand of product. So yeah, I went free by giving away over $1 million liquid that That was everything I had. And I couldn't make payments on the houses that I had mortgages on because I had no income on the books. Anyway, um, I did experience what it was like to, you know, they impounded all my cars for the case. I had to drive, beaters because even if they couldn't be registered under my name, and no one was willing to register a nice car under their name for me and insure it. So, not they were willing. I don't ask for favors like that. So, anyway, I experienced the cops treat me like that because I was poor and because I had the record that, same with African American culture, right? All right, the Black Lives Matter movement. All these woke millennials and Gen Z get the T-shirts and the flags, and they marched and looted. They didn't change shit. It was a start. That movement's good, but how about this? I grew up in the burbs, right? But it's Jersey, so rough and rugged burbs, not like the normal ones. And a lot of black kids that I went to school with, the ones that lived in the suburbs with me, they were the best behaved of all of our friends. Certainly better than me in the 132nd Guinea Brigade. I mean, all of my white friends, Italian friends that hung out together, the shit that we would get into. These people knew their parents. One of my best friends, two of my best friends, told me how their parents let them know that, look, you're the first in our family's history to be raised in a middle class community. Don't fuck it up. Don't do things that are going to embarrass us because we want to be accepted here. And Jersey's a melting pot, so it's a great place. It's a great place to be accepted. But those were the people that generally never had a behavior problem. They had good grades in school because they understood that this was the end of a long line of poverty. They were some of they all came from Philadelphia, where I grew up, in the rough areas, and they were some of the only people that got out. How about we address with the Native Americans and with blacks, with the Black Lives Matter movement? How about we try to address something that's gonna fix the issue that the ghettos in this country, the worst cities, the worst parts of, it's not really worst cities, it is, but like as far as a big city, whatever the worst area is, the cheapest area to live, that's where minorities live. And the thing is that I know from when I worked in charter schools, it's insane when people say, if they really wanted to make something better, they'd get out. First of all, when you're broke, because I was here too. I know I was a 19-year-old millionaire, and even when I beat the trial, I had to give up everything I had. It was very hard to, when you're like an entrepreneur, to start with nothing and have people walking sideways when they see you. But I just think that what I saw, the charter schools' objective was to improve the public schools' standardized test scores, which they did by 30%. So that was the worst in the country. The city we were in, their district was the public school district was the worst in the country. Ours were 30% better, but statewide they were still in the bottom 15 percentile. And who knows what the hell they did to get these kids ready for the test. 30% higher sounds great, but when you're, let's say, in the bottom like 4 percentile, score wise. I'm sorry, let's say, your average score, people are average getting 20% of the questions right. We're 30% better, so that would mean that we upped it by, made it 26% right. I mean, yeah, it's 30% better, but they both suck. And standardized tests don't tell shit. Any educator that is worth it. I've never heard anyone say a standardized test, getting people to do well on it makes them is a good thing. It's not a bad thing, but it doesn't mean shit. It's there's far better ways to evaluate somebody's academic progress. So the education system, the choices they have are awful. The teachers don't want to go there because it's dangerous. The school system's a wreck. Teachers in general in this country are already leaving the professions because we don't pay them enough, and in the inner cities they pay even less, and it's like the worst thing I've ever seen. And then they give them these charter school choices, and I worked in one that you know I was a big part of this and made it successful. I was the finance guy. When I came in, we watched it grow from 50 kids in 2 trailers in a Howard Johnson motel parking lot to getting a school with 500 students that were in, I think it was 20 classrooms, 500 students, and it was K through 2. And when I was doing that as an intern, when I came on board full time, they had built the K through kindergarten first building, second, and now they took on third, fourth, fifth. So it had K1, 2 and 3, 4 and 5, 3 school buildings, and an admin building. 1,500 students, so we had about 1,200. Well, then we ended up taking on 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. We opened up the another campus, did the same thing. We had, on that campus, I think it was K through 3 in one building. Then we had 4 or 5 in another, and then 6, 7, 8 in the other. Ended up being the largest K through 8 charter school district in the country. This was between 2002 to 2008. It grew from 100 to 4,000. It was like you would pick this school because it was beautiful. You had a campus on each side of the city. The schools were great. They were modular. Like there's the type of schools that'll fall apart in 10 years, but they're stucco and they're put together like Legos. I suppose that wasn't the worst thing, but they just made it look like a private school campus, and they had uniforms. And when you are used to the worst of the worst, this looked great. And then when we said, well, we have test scores that are 30% higher than the public schools, it sounds great until you realize that, it's like saying that I bat, 30% higher than my mom in baseball. My mom gets a hit 1 out of every 100 at bats, and me, I get a hit 1.3 out of every 100 at bats. You see what I mean? It's stupid. And as far as the Native Americans go, like I said, get rid of the fucking reservations. The only thing that's like that, and it might have had a more significant purpose back in the day because we don't police them. We almost gave them their own country, but it's not true. They don't have their own country. We just don't patrol them, directly. Cops don't go there and give them tickets. But like I said, we set them up. It's like we built a ghetto for them in like upstate New York and parts of the Southwest. It's not a ghetto. It's just an area that's in the middle of nowhere. There's no room for progress. And those people, you don't have a good education system. You're not getting it out, okay? And what I witnessed in these low-income areas is that, you get the shittiest, the kind of shitty, or the one in the middle, the least shitty. But it's like you have an F, a D minus, or a D as your choices. And, when you add on that, the fact that a number of parents that are working multiple jobs that are never home, the ratio of households that only have one parent, everything you could imagine is stacked up against them. I worked a lot with the black churches in 3 years. I built that charter school because I thought I was doing a good thing until I realized that this money I was saving when we grew and we came in at 15 students, it was like, they were taking in like $1 million a year in management fees. And I was told I was to pay the salaries, but I did payroll and I'm counting. I'm like, their salaries are only, it's only 6 people. The salaries are literally, like 600,000. Where's that other 400,000 go? And then, by the way, I negotiated contracts that saved $300,000. So that's $700,000. And then I look, management fees were up by $642,000 that year. And by the time I left, I had saved them about $1 million a year in expenses, which is straight profit. And never got dumped in the schools. I negotiated contracts to get school supplies cheaper. So what did we do? Hey guys, so Ryan's negotiations, he used to get $25 a student. He has saved us 30%. So we're gonna now you're gonna get $17.50 a student. I'm like, all right, so yeah, that's my savings. I get it. So they should be able to get they can stretch the dollar and get the same amount for that price. But what are you gonna do with the $7.50? Maybe buy them, new books or give the teachers raises or incentives to no. Management fees go up. And that's, it's a trick. It's like the nonprofit organization is managed by this company, but the nonprofit has superintendent, director, special ed, that make, chief administrative officer, that make all the rules. Yeah, me, the CFO, the COO, and the CEO. Those people didn't report to us in any chain of command, but we made the rules. We didn't actually manage the school. We didn't know anything about it. We didn't give a shit. They were well aware that, this is the money they have to work with. If I cut the prices, they're getting their prices cut. If they don't spend a budget in one area, they're not getting it back the next year. And the salaries didn't go up for anyone when I saved that money. It all went to one person. The management fees, which are, what is management fee? We manage a nonprofit. So what happens is you put me in there running the money, but hey, the nonprofit's making $1 million a year. Oh, interesting. That's what our management fees are. Really? What if I would have lost $100,000? It's like, well, then our management fees would have, been enough to cover that. So, basically, they're gonna get paid no matter what. So the systemic issues with the black people, Black Lives Matter, ending police killing them, that's great. Change the name of the Washington Redskins, that's good. I suppose it's better than having a name that's so out of date. But we're still getting, at least Black Lives Matter, we're getting angry about an issue that was fucked up. The thing is that I'm telling you, the cops wouldn't be killing as many black people if they were not concentrated in these fucking areas that our society, makes it impossible for them to get out of. You try to get out of that area when, you turn 16, you're old enough to get a job, and you do because your mom's working 3 jobs, and then she has a heart attack, she has diabetes, she needs it for her medicine. Right around, it's crazy. It's right around the time that they're getting ready to move on, their parents are at the time that when you live in, by the way, there's diabetes. It's not a racist thing I'm saying. They don't have grocery stores in the hood. You ever been in the hood? They have fucking liquor stores and convenience stores. They don't have fucking, Acme, Pathmark, Kroger's, they don't have that shit. They think they have a Samsung, they got Walmart. But you know what? Funny, their Walmarts don't have the grocery part. And they're never in their hood. They're they're like the same city, right? But they're on the outskirt between their city and the nicer suburbs outside. Same reason that you can't get good teachers. The big corporations aren't opening grocery stores there. They know that it's the highest crime area. Things are going to get stolen. It's going to be hard to find people to work. And not to mention that they don't like the household income average in the area. They know what groceries, people that live paycheck to paycheck don't go buy 300 groceries, just like they don't move to get out of the area. There are ways that could save money, but you got to spend it first. You get groceries, you save money. But let's say you work, in a job that you get paid 3 times a week, because you get tips and like a minimum wage. Well, guess what? You're never gonna have savings because you're only making enough to pay the rent and the utilities. Like $300 for groceries. No, it's not like that. You get paid, you live in week to week. So what you do is no, I can't afford $300 in groceries, but what I can afford is $100 a week in food for us to eat that is marked fuck up, you know. So anyway, same with the Indians on the reservations. There's fucking grocery stores and reservations. Think there's good schools? No. Can't be healthy. It can't fucking and what it does is it makes them have to take care of their parents when they're like 18. It makes drug problems. So the parents that they're not taking care of are dead or in jail. It's just and like I said, like it's just like in the hurricane. I remember they were bashing people for leaving their dog. It's like, and it was having to be a black family. I'm like, yo, when you have like 72 hours notice to get out of town or you're gonna die, all right? Like you don't understand. Like being able to bring your dog that's a fucking person with money's luxury. Being able to moving's expensive. It's not. Yeah, renting a U-Haul's 20 fucking bucks, right? Yeah, no, it's not. There's all kinds of hidden fees in there. You gotta fucking get boxes, and you gotta fucking. It is a process. It's not that easy. All right. Most people could move for cheap. You know why? To throw out all their shit. These people, nah. You know they can't do that. First of all, the security deposit, that's a problem. Moving to a newer city, rent's already gonna be more money. It's the lump sum that they can never come up with. They can never come up with $1,000 extra. You know, because it's. I challenge you guys to live it. You know, I was a millionaire by the time I'm 19, lost it at 26, gained it back by 30, lost it at 32, gained it back at 35. I don't think there's many people that have done that without having some type of crazy talent. And I have a gift, you know. I have 162 IQ. I have a master's degree, and I still struggled. Like, the reason that I was able to do it, this is the only reason. I'm not married, didn't have kids. Just me to worry about. So whatever standard of living I had, that was my business. Right? These people have kids. They have family that they're responsible for. They need to worry about more people, and that just makes it harder. It was hard as shit for me. You know how I had to get out? I can't even tell you. Say this. I charged some money on a card. Lots of it. I moved across the country. It cost like $2,000 plus gas, plus the hotels on the way. And then I had to fucking put a security deposit down when I got there. I didn't have $1. I charged, and then credit. I charged though. I paid it back, I'll tell you that. But what I did was illegal. You know, and I knew I was going to get caught. I just figured if I could do XYZ, it was going to be a 90-day window that I had. And the 90 days came, and like clockwork, I get a call. Hey, we got this card that's been maxed out, $5,000. This person is XYZ, we'll say. Whatever they were. It wasn't me. I did have permission, though. Kinda. I had, at that point, $2,500 saved up, and I mailed a check for the $2,500 I had. Actually, I think I went to an ATM and deposited cash, and I set up a payment plan. I made it sound like it was a mistake, and I basically told them that I would do that if the $2,500 would go in if they set up a payment plan that allows me to pay $300 a week for the next 10 weeks. So I was like, so yeah, I'm gonna give you $3,000 for the $2,500 I owe, plus pay $2,500, or you can press charges, you get nothing. And they're banks. They only did it because they would lose money by prosecuting me. But fuck, man, what I did is so ballsy, and you have to have broken the law so much like I did to even know that that shit is not gonna be something you get away with. But anyway, hope you enjoyed my rant. The Redskins changed their name. Native Americans, I know, we killed 90% of them. The 10% that are left, I'm sure this is gonna change their fucking whole entire lifestyle. God bless America, and you're welcome, Native Americans. You better give us some comp chips in the casino, because while all your family members are dying of alcoholism and committing suicide, and you're losing your cultural identity because we've massacred so many of you, I hope that you appreciate that we changed the name of a football team and some baseball teams' mascots, and I think we did it in every sport. And don't forget, I know you don't watch those sports, but It makes us feel better. So you need to understand that we're awesome because of that. And I know we put you in, a form of a prison, but be grateful. We did give you an addiction to gambling and alcohol, and you were addicted to, well, living, farming, family, that boring shit. God bless America.